your host, Martinique Brown. I'm so excited that you have decided to tune into the show today. Do you know why? Because I have Dr. Denise on the show today. She is actually a self-discovery specialist, and she is going to tell us more about her book, Own Your Amazing. Discover your power to create an amazing life you love. So, Dr. Denise, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me. So excited to be here.
So, Dr. Denise, let me know, why did you decide to write your book, Own Your Amazing?
Well, let me start by saying how the whole Own Your Amazement movement started, and then I can talk a little bit about the book.
Okay.
A few years ago, I had attended a workshop with one of my business coaches. Okay. And the night, so I arrived on Friday, and so we were going to have a group discussion on Saturday. Mm-hmm. So me and a fellow attendee, she and I went out to dinner. We had just met. We had a wonderful time, wonderful conversation. And so then the next day we met as a group. And so it was my turn to be in the hot seat. Okay. So as soon as I sat down in the chair, I just started crying. Mm-hmm. And so my coach was like, "What's going on? Why are you crying?" I was like, "I don't really know what's going on with me. I don't know, I'm here trying to figure it out." Mm-hmm. And so the young lady who I had gone to dinner with the night before, she was in there and she said, "I know what's wrong with you." Mm-hmm. And so in my mind, I'm thinking like, we just met. You don't really know me. Yeah. How do you know what's wrong with me, right? And so I just looked, I said, "Oh yeah." I said, "What's wrong with me?" She was like, "You're smart, you're brilliant, you're talented, you're all these wonderful things, mm-hmm. but you don't own it." She said, "You need to own your amazing." And I started, I was like, that's it. You're right.
You do know me.
I need to own my amazing. Because a lot of times for me, and I know a lot of other women, we have played small for so long. We've had to apologize. I feel like we've had to apologize for being who we are. And so in essence, she was telling me, you don't have to apologize for being who you are. God has created all of us to be amazing. But because of our upbringing, because of societies, because of so many things, we don't think we're amazing. Mm-hmm. Because our past mistakes, our past shortcomings, whatever it may be, we think those things causes us to be less amazing. And so I wrote the book to get the message out, to men, women, boys, girls, whomever, just to remind us that we are truly amazing and that we have to own it. So that's why I wrote the book.
Do you feel that owning something and having something are two different things?
Well, when you look at the word own, because when you define it, it means to obtain it, to possess it, to basically to have it within. Okay. And so, yes, you can have something, but owning it does go to a different level. You can have a house, but do you own the house?
Mm-hmm. That's a good.
Wow. I've lived in a house. It wasn't mine, but the house I'm in now, I own it. It's mine. Mm-hmm. So you can have it or you can own it. You can really take possession of something and really make it your own. It's who you are. It's that's just part of who you are. Is that you own it and you possess it. So I think that there's a difference between the two.
Mm-hmm. But my thinking is. Mm-hmm. You have to have a lot of self-confidence in order to, let me see, the word that I'm thinking about is accept who you truly are and who God created you to be. Because who you truly are may rub other individuals the wrong way. So how do you separate being accepted by everyone and still being true to who you truly are and owning that?
Oh my God, that's a great question. And one of the chapters in the book is called Confirm Your Own Brilliance.
Okay.
It's not about whether or not someone else approves of you or likes you. Mm-hmm. I was a people pleaser for so long, and only because I didn't value my own opinion. I didn't value what I brought to the table. So it's not about external validation. It's about internal acceptance. And so once you accept who you are, it really won't matter too much whether or not other people accept it. Because God has created us each to be individuals. And whether or not you like it, if you like me, great. If you don't, that still does not have the impact how I feel about myself. And oftentimes we have taken our cues from society or taken our cues for outside people to validate us, to say whether or not we're good enough. And that is so dangerous because you are going to never be able to please everybody. I don't care how good you are. I don't care what you do. If someone like this lipstick I have on, somebody else is going to say that's the wrong color. So it's not about what other people think about us. It's about, what do you think about yourself? Who do you say you are for yourself? And so once we get that, we'll be so much more happier. Like you said, on Facebook, everybody's trying to look good on the outside for everybody else. But on the inside, how do you feel about yourself on the inside? That's the most important thing to me. And that's why I talk about self-discovery. Who are you for you? Have you discovered yourself first? And once you do that, if anybody else likes me, that's just gravy. But I don't live worrying about whether or not I'm going to get the approval for everybody, because everybody is not going to like us. It's just not going to happen. And it's okay.
That is so true. That is so true.
Okay.
And I think about the individuals that during their childhood, they have really been talked about so much that they don't have that self-value.
Exactly.
How do you speak to those individuals?
Oh my goodness. I mean, for a lot of people, that's a lot of us, even as adults, we are still working on things that were spoken over us as children. I shared on Saturday, I had a book club meeting. And also, I think I shared in the book as well, that when I was in high school, well, all through grade school, I did very well in school. And so when I got to high school, my 12th grade year, mind you, my English teacher told me that I was one of the worst writers he's ever had.
Wow. Who says that to a child?
Hello. And I'm like, really? Oh my God, I've done well all these years. And here's this person telling me he doesn't like my writing. And so to say that it didn't affect me as I went on to college and even writing this book, I still had him in my head. So we are constant. We have to constantly look within to see if things that were spoken over us by teachers, by family members, by friends, by society, are those things really true? And if not, get them out your head, and not worry about what other people are saying about you. I have a soft spot right now for young girls, teen girls especially, because I know how I was as a teenager, struggling with my own self-identity, my self-esteem, just feeling good enough, pretty enough, smart enough, all those enoughs. And so I'm on a mission now, to start young with young girls to say, you are enough exactly the way you are. You don't have to dumb down. You don't have to change. You don't have to try to fit in to be liked. It's not that important. Love you for who you are, period. And then everything else will fall into place.
Yeah. You know what I'm thinking about though? Since you mentioned, young girls, and I'm just going to include teenagers.
Sure.
So I'm thinking about my nephews, and they're in high school right now. And I also think about how I was in high school.
Yeah.
And it's like a growing stage, something you eventually, and hopefully, I don't want to make it sound like everybody grows out of it, but eventually you grow out of it.
Grow out of what?
Sometimes that mentality of, I need people's approval.
I still see adults doing that.
Okay. And so what I wanted to ask you,
sure,
why do you feel like that's a challenge you would like to take on, and you didn't just sit back and say, okay, that's just really how it is in people's teenage years, and that eventually they'll grow out of it?
Because I experienced it for myself. And I saw friends and the women that I attract are very accomplished women, PhDs, attorneys, professors, executives. And when you have conversations with them, they are still wondering, even with the corner office and the 6-figure salary, am
Yeah.
I good enough?
Mm-hmm.
So that lets me know that we have not done the work. We have not done what we needed to do. And it's not something you grow out of as teenager. I wish that that was the case. If that was the case, I wouldn't still be right. I wouldn't feel the need for the movement. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
And it's because, again, we've done well. Yes, I said we look good on paper. Again, we have all the accolades, but when you pull back the layers, when you have intimate conversation with these women, it's like I still don't feel good enough. I still feel like that high school girl trying to get the approval of the boy, of my teacher, and all these things. Now it's not my teacher. Now it's the other moms. Now it's my colleagues. We have to make sure we have a big enough house to compete with my colleagues. I have to make sure I'm X, Y, and Z because we didn't resolve those issues as teenagers in the sense of we are amazing and we are good enough as we are, period. Not to say you don't evolve and grow as an individual. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that you have to have a sense of self-confidence and self-worth within yourself that it doesn't matter what other people think about you. You know that you are doing and you are who God has created you to be, period.
Got you. Got you.
So
So, I know that we talked about things that people speak on teenagers' life. What are some other things that you believe actually hinders individuals from having that life that they truly love?
I think not understanding their purpose, and that's another part I talk about in the book, is purpose. One of my favorite books that I read was several. One by both of them by Rick Warren was The Purpose Driven Life. I think a lot of people have read that one,
That's a
and
good
the
one.
other one is What on the Earth Am I Here For? I hope I'm not messing up the title with that, but it's the whole premise of why are you here? Why
Mm-hmm.
are you on this planet? What did you come to do? And I don't think, again, we take the time to really think about that. I know for a lot of people, we were taught to get a good education and go to college and, become a doctor, lawyer, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
People had already told us what we were expected to become. But what if you wanted to do something different?
Mm-hmm.
And so I see a lot of people going to college, getting degrees, going into careers and professions based on what other people wanted them to do. And they're not happy. It's not really what they want to do. And they haven't taken the time to really explore and discover what it is that they've been called and purposed to do. I heard a statistic just the other day that 80% of the people hate their jobs.
Yeah,
80%. That's a lot of unhappy people.
it is.
That's
It
a
is.
lot of unhappy people. So that's why this message is so critical. We have a lot of people on the planet just not happy, not fulfilled, not really doing what they were designed to do, that God had called them to do. We have certain gifts and talents and abilities.
Mm-hmm.
And he gave us these things for a reason, for a purpose, and that was to be able to be used to benefit the world. But if we're not doing that, then the world is missing out, right? I
Right.
always tell the example of my mechanic. I love my mechanic. I can call
Uh-huh.
him anytime, and he'll come over and fix my car.
Uh-huh.
What if he only fixed his car?
Yeah.
What if he
And
only
he
fixed
did
his
share
car?
his gift.
What if he said, I'm good at mechanical things and all that great stuff.
Uh-huh.
I'm only going to fix my car. I'm not going to fix anybody else's car. What benefit would that be? What good would that
Mhm.
do?
Yeah.
No, so we have these gifts and talents that were meant to be shared with the world. But again, a lot of times we just aren't doing what we're supposed to be doing. I have a friend who's an attorney. She's very great at being an attorney, but she wants to open up a restaurant.
Mm.
I have another person who she's a doctor, PhD, but she just wants to travel the world and be a poet.
Mm.
But you
That's
have to have
good.
courage to say, I'm going to walk away from this, what everybody's expecting for me to do, and I'm going to do what I believe I've been put on this earth to do. And so
Mm.
it takes courage to do that. It really does.
Now, I'm just going to be honest with you.
Okay.
I feel that a lot of individuals aren't able to, let's say in the professional realm,
Yeah.
they're not able to fulfill or um, do what they're truly passionate about is because those things may not pay the bills. And so, what I found myself doing was I was laid off from my job, and I was a volunteer coordinator. So it wasn't really a field that, I felt like God called me to. It was just I just needed a job. So I did it. And then I was laid off from that job. So I started working at a temp agency. And because I had clerical experience, I was working at the temp agency as a receptionist. Mm-hmm. And I said, Martinique, I got to stop accepting these jobs because I'm going to lock myself into just these clerical jobs. And I'm going to be honest with you, Dr. Denise, and viewers. It's only me. I don't have kids to take care of. I don't have a husband to help, support and stuff. So I can eat ramen noodles every single day, right. And so I think it's a little bit easier for me to just venture out and, do these type of things. But how do you speak to those individuals that had a lot more responsibilities to take care of, and they can't, have that amazing life that they want to have or pursue those things professionally?
I hear that. So I've heard that so many times. And my thing is, it's just not true. If you believe you can't have the life you dream about, then you're never going to go after it. Mm-hmm. So the first thing you have to do is believe that it's possible.
Tell them, Dr. Denise.
Then you figure out how to make it happen, right? So I've been self-employed. I have a private practice business I've been having for many years. And has it been easy? No. But I told myself in the beginning that I was going to make sure that I work the schedule that I want. I was eventually going to evolve with that. But the other thing I want to say too is this. You can find anybody in any profession doing well. Mm-hmm. Any profession, you'll find people doing well in it. Mm-hmm. So this whole being a starving artist or struggling, you don't have to. Name any profession and you'll find that someone is excelling in that profession. And reason why they're excelling in that profession, because they're passionate about it and they're doing their excellence in it. So anytime you're passionate and you're excellent in what you do, you're going to put the time and the energy in it, and it's going to grow. Take a person who a couple of months ago, there was this big furlough with the government, right? The government shut down. And there was a story about this girl, this woman, who made cheesecakes. Her family raved about her cheesecakes. And so she was on furlough. The government had shut down. And so her sister was like, why don't you bake some cheesecakes and sell them? Mm-hmm. And Ellen DeGeneres found out about them, gave them thousands of dollars. Their business blew up because she was excellent about cheesecakes. Mm-hmm. Hey, but had she said, oh, I'm not going to do it, it's not going to work. But no, they was like, how can it work? How can we make it work? A lot of times I tell people, we count ourselves out before we even get in the game. Mm-hmm. So I don't subscribe to the thing. Yes, we have responsibilities. I have friends who got kids in college. I got friends who have, 6 figures, but it's a way to do it. If you're going to do it, you can figure out a way to do it. Mm-hmm. If it's working your full-time job and transitioning into your own business, do it, because that's what I did. I worked for a salary for a company, and then I got my side hustle, and then eventually I left the company and started my own company.
How long was that before you was able to transition into being self-employed?
And it's going to be different for every person. Mm-hmm. Okay. It's going to be different for every person. For me, it was probably it took 5 years for me to go full time with it, but that was because of me, not because the opportunities weren't there to grow my company. Mm-hmm. That was because I was like, I don't know, it's going to work. And then finally I was like, I got to go. I got to take the chance. Mm-hmm. I got to take that leap. And I did. And I haven't looked back.
That's good.
And so there were many times I was like, oh, man, go get a job. Well, why? Keep working, keep doing. And eventually things just completely open up for me. And I've had a private practice for over 15 years. I've been self-employed for over 15 years. And I employ other people. So it's possible. But we have to make a decision that that's what we're going to do. So first of all, you got to take out this whole thing. I got responsibility. We all have responsibilities, whether you're single, married, single with kids. I don't care. Everybody has bills. Period. Everybody got to live. Period. But figure out a way. You are smart enough. We are smart enough to figure out how to do it if we want to do it.
So Can you just walk us through your book so that we will actually have a better understanding of what to expect when we buy the book?
All
That
right.
link is in the description box.
Sure. So here again, it's the cover of the book. And the first part of the book, in the introduction, I talk about so I talk about there's a shift happening. So this is kind of what we're talking about. There's so many people who are doing things differently. They have shifted their mindset.
Mm-hmm.
They have shifted. There's so many people saying, like, I'm going to stay home with my kids. I'm going to be a stay-at-home mom. I'm going to be a stay-at-home dad. I'm going to telecommute. I'm going to work. People have shifted their mindset and what it means to be successful, what it means to work, what it means to have work-life balance. Mm-hmm. So even think about the shift has happened in terms of business. Back in the day, if you said you want to own a business, you had to have a building. You had to have a startup capital. You had to have investors. Yeah. You had to have a staff. You had to have all these things. But now today, that's not true. That's not the case. Mm-hmm. You can start a business. And I know people. I met a woman who has a $30 million business working from home.
That's good.
Okay. So it's a shift. It's like, are we willing to shift what it means to work? What does it mean to be successful? All those things. So the first part of the book is like, there is a shift that's happening. I'm not going to say it has happened. It has happened. But I asked the reader, well, what about you? Are you shifted, or are you continuing to think, oh, I can't do this because of this. I don't have this resource. I don't have that. But what do you have? Mm-hmm. And if you're willing to use what you have to make it work, then make it work. So I talk about that, making a shift. And I talk about my own struggle to own my amazing. I talk about early childhood stories. I talk about, family. I talk about school. I talk about relationships. Talk about just my struggles. Yeah. And like you said, growing up with issues with value, knowing my worth and knowing my value, and really, really understanding what that means. Mm-hmm. And then I talk about my journey out of darkness. My journey of self-discovery. And, I had gotten to a point where I was like, I'm just not happy.
That's good. Mm-hmm.
I remember the night that I got my master's degree from Howard University, mm-hmm. and had gone out with some friends to celebrate. And I remember we were down in the water in DC and was sitting out there, and I was depressed. Mm. And my friend was like, why? What's going on? I was like, I got the accolades, but is this it?
Did you not know what was wrong?
I didn't know.
Okay.
I just knew, like, I'm just not happy. I thought I thought I was gonna feel different. Yeah. But I was happy that I made this accomplishment, but I wasn't happy inside. Yeah. Because it still felt like I had pressure, like, what's next? I gotta get this, that pressure we put on ourselves, mm-hmm. and from society too. Like, you got the master's degree, now what? What's next? What kind of job are you going to get? What are you going to grind? All of that was going through my mind, and I couldn't enjoy the moment. I couldn't enjoy my accomplishments at the time. So I talk about that, and that's when I feel like I was like, I got to figure out what's going on with me, mm-hmm. with me. And so that's what the first part of the book about. And then the whole Own Your Amazing, I call it 3 pillars. It's about knowing your value, aligning with your purpose, and then sharing your brilliance with the world. So the next part of the book talks about this whole value thing. Mm-hmm. And the first one of the chapters to talk about that is called Divine Design. And so that's one of my favorite chapters in the book, because it talks about, if we really understood who we are, I believe in God, I believe in a creator, mm-hmm. and I believe he created us unique and special and amazing. But we don't understand it. And if we truly understood how unique and amazing we really are, we wouldn't struggle with our value. We wouldn't struggle with our self-worth. When I do my workshop, I tell the people, I said, I don't know if you've ever been to a museum before. One of my favorite museums in DC is the museum where they had all the big jewels and diamonds and all that. And so one year they had the Hope Diamond on display. Mm-hmm. And I said, I'm going to go see this diamond. And they had it all in a case and was looking at it and everything. And everybody was coming to admire it because it was so rare. Mm-hmm. But if we understand how rare we are, that's only one me, and it's only one you. There would never be another you. It's never going to be another me. And so we understood that, we would stop comparing ourselves to other people. There's no need to do that. There is no comparison. And so I really talk about, just look at your fingerprints, look at your handprint, look at your, everything about you is different, it's unique, and it's special, and it's of value. But we don't value ourselves. We don't. We think because we're not brown enough, we're not black enough, we're not skinny enough, we're not all these things. Instead of saying, look at who you are. You are a unique, refined, and you should be celebrated for that. And so I talk about even confirming your own brilliance. We talked about that a little bit. No comparison. I don't know why we compare ourselves to other people. We do it all the time. Yeah. And when we do that, we make ourselves feel bad because we elevate other people. Oh, she has it going on, but I don't. Oh, they have this, but I don't. So there's no need to compare because there is no one to compare you to. You're it. I'm it.
And I think another thing with the comparison is you look at, because I know that I do this sometimes.
Okay.
You know, I look at how my life is now as a 36-year-old, and I look at somebody else that may be more accomplished or established at 36, and I look at it as, man, I should be right here. I should be up there with them, you know, at 36.
And did they live your life? Have they lived the exact life that you lived?
No, they haven't.
Okay, then that's not why I compare. There's no reason. I do it too. Yeah. But it's like I have to tell myself, why are you doing that? It's no reason. Nobody has my unique lived experiences. No one has my unique abilities and gifts. And nobody has what I have. This is uniquely my journey and me. So what is there to compare? We do that. I don't know why we punish ourselves that way.
I think it's just more so it's a desired life that you wish that you had.
And that's okay as long as it doesn't diminish you. You can desire to have what other people have, but don't allow it to diminish who you are and what you have accomplished. And we have to really, this is why I said, if you really stop and understand your journey, I don't know about you. I can't speak for anybody else. I can only speak for me. My journey has not been easy. And so I am not going to continue to diminish what I've accomplished, considering what I've come through. Even as African Americans, we cannot diminish what we have accomplished, considering where we came from. Okay? We should be proud of what we have accomplished, considering what we were faced with. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we have to stop diminishing what we had accomplished. And this is what I told my brother. I was telling my brother, I'm young. I'm the youngest of 5 children, and grew up with a father. And my mom, she was sick a lot, right? And it was very challenging. We grew up with financial struggle, all those kind of things, right? My parents didn't go to college. Out of my parents' 5 children, 4 of us went to college. 2 have PhDs and the other 2 have master's degrees. If you didn't know our story, that wouldn't be a big deal. But if you knew from whence we came and what we had to come through, that's a big deal. This is why people marvel at like an Oprah Winfrey. When you know her story and what she's accomplished, wow. If you know Jay-Z's story to now to be the first rapper, billionaire, rapper. If you knew his backstory, that's why you can say, wow. But if you have somebody who grew up with $1 million and now they got 10 million, well, you should have had 10 million. You started out with $1 million. But we have people who didn't come for much and had to really scrape and struggle and make those accomplishments. To me, that's more amazing.
Okay.
So we have to stop diminishing ourselves and look at our stories. Look at what we had to go through to accomplish the things we accomplished. So I'm excited. And when I remember that, I don't compare my story to someone else because they may not have gone through it. I was in college with people who had money for tuition and books. You know what I'm saying? So you should have done well. But I didn't. I didn't always have money for books, but I did well. You see what I'm saying? So that's why I stopped comparing myself to people, because you don't know their story. You don't know what they've been through to get what they've gotten. So it just doesn't serve any purpose. Not to say, no, yes, I want a better life. Yes, I do, but I'm going to do it on my own pace. I'm going to do it in my own journey. And it's not about what somebody else has or done, because you never know what they have and what they don't have. You have no idea.
Mhm.
They show you what they want you to see, but you don't know. You don't always know the backstory.
Let me ask you something. Do you
Sure.
believe that? So let's say, for example, we'll say a parent
Yeah.
that, um, you know, they had three kids and they don't mind the job that they have. They don't mind that lifestyle that they have, and they're content.
Mm-hmm.
Would they be? Is it okay for them to feel like they have this amazing life when comparing or when looking at it against somebody that desires more and they're striving and they've obtained that life? What do you think? Because, and the reason why I asked that question
Okay.
is because so I went to seminary and I graduated from seminary. And some women, they went to seminary, they graduated from seminary, and they became stay at home moms.
Okay.
And so people looked at their life and said, you put all that time and effort into getting your education, and now you're not using it in the ministry. And it was kind of like they were talking to them as if it was a waste.
Right.
They don't, quote unquote, I guess what society would call, oh, you don't have that amazing life, what you strive for, what you went to school for. But maybe their purpose was to raise these kids, with a stay-at-home mom. So I just don't want people to listen to this broadcast and say, oh, but I'm okay with where I'm at. I'm okay with this life. Do I not have an amazing life? I don't want people to think like that when they
Mm-hmm.
watch this. What do you think about that?
I think that again, it's about self-discovery. Only,
Yeah.
only I can say whether or not my life is amazing. It's not for you to tell me whether my life is amazing or not.
Got you. Got you.
That's the key.
Mm-hmm.
If, like you said, with the example of the women going to seminary, then deciding that they wanted to be stay-at-home moms, that's their decision.
Mm-hmm.
If that's what they decide that they want to do with their lives, and that's fulfilling for them, and they're happy and they feel like they're on purpose, then that's what it's supposed to be. No one gets to define your life but you.
Mm-hmm.
I get to say what success is for me. Someone asked, I had an event on Saturday and someone asked me, how did it go? And I said, it went well. But how I define how it went well may be different from how someone else may define how it went well. And I'm okay with that. How I define it is that I did it and I feel like it went well.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't have to worry about so and so said that she didn't think it went well, or there wasn't this number of people there. That's not how I choose to define it.
Yeah.
And again, we get to define for ourselves what it means to have an amazing life, however that looks for you. That's the thing. I work with people and helping them define, like, what is it that you want to do for your life? How do you want your work-life balance to look? What's going to make you fulfilled? Not what other people want for you. No.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know. Did that answer the question?
That did. That's really good. I really like the fact that it's based off of what that individual feels, and if they are content and if they're happy with that life, then they are living that amazing life.
Yes.
And as we grow, you may want to start doing something else and go after it.
Absolutely. Not right. Because some people, I don't know if you've seen that show, Tiny Houses.
I haven't seen it.
Oh my God, I love that show. It's like people who want to live in tiny houses.
Oh, on HGTV.
Yeah, HG, the little tiny house.
Yeah.
Think about that.
I'm telling you, I be looking at them like, what? Ain't no
right. But for them, that's what they want to do. For people who want to live off the grid, you know what I mean? Or you have people who want to live in the city, who want to live by the water, whatever that is. It's no, oh, I got to do this because this is what everybody expects for me to do. But what is it that you want to do? How do you want to show up in the world? What do you want to contribute? That's the question. Because
Yeah.
again, we spend so much time worrying about what other people think about our lives, and we don't take the time to discover, what do you really think about it?
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
ask people like, do you like, what kind of ice cream you like? They be like, chocolate. How do you know you like chocolate? Somebody tell you you're supposed to like chocolate? Do you really like chocolate?
Yeah.
And it was a couple of things. I was like, yeah, I really don't like that. When I start to think about some stuff, I'm like, I don't really like it. I don't really want that. And it's okay to say that and be okay with whatever it is that you like. It's okay.
Hmm.
So okay.
Yeah. So I know that you actually talked about knowing God, and
Yeah.
in order to know what your purpose is,
Hmm.
if someone does not believe in God, do you feel like they can still relate to your book?
My book is not about God. It's about you and discovering
Hmm.
who you are. I
Hmm.
believe that it's easier to discover who you are being connected to God, because
Okay.
I believe He's the source.
Hmm.
So whether you believe in God or not, you can stop comparing yourself to other people.
Hmm. Got you. Hmm.
Whether you believe in God or not, even science bear witness that we are unique individuals.
Hmm.
Look at your DNA.
Hmm.
I talk about that. Science bear witness. You are unique. No one else has your DNA.
Yeah.
No one else has your fingerprint.
Hmm.
So whether you believe in God or not, that's why I say in the book, I'm not here to tell people you got to believe in God, but these principles are true, period. You are created. However, you evolved. If you believe in, the whole evolution thing, we came from monkeys, apes. I don't ascribe to that. But even in that, you have evolved. You are unique individuals and species. All of that we study in school.
Hmm.
But at the end of the day, these principles are true. Stop comparing yourself. Find out what it is you really want to do. What gifts and talents do you have? Who can you serve? Worrying about the company you keep. That's a big one. And again, I believe it's easier to own your amazing when you surround yourself with people
Hmm.
who are going to encourage you to own your amazing, to
Can
live
you
on
can
purpose.
you say those three pillars again?
Oh, sure. They are understanding your value,
Hmm.
aligning with your purpose, and then sharing your unique brilliance with the world.
Mm, okay. Okay.
Because again, we got to know who we are. We are divine. We need to conform. I'm sorry. We need to confirm our own brilliance. Stop worrying about what everybody else is saying about you. What are you saying about you?
Mhm.
Because really, what you say about you is more important than what someone else says about you. You with you all day,
Mhm.
every day. That internal voice is what you listen to most, not the external. What are you saying about you? That's going to make a difference. I've seen it so many times where I've told people, you're so smart, you should go after this job, you're the right person for this promotion, and they won't do it.
Mhm.
I said, I think you're great at it, but they told themselves, you're not good enough.
Mhm.
You're not smart enough. They're never going to hire you for that. And so what happens? They don't apply.
Mhm.
So it's not really about other people's voices. It's about what are we telling ourselves? Out
Right.
listening to our own voice. And so I want to back up and say another chapter in the book I talk about is self-care.
Mhm.
That is such a biggie. How are we taking care of ourselves?
Yeah.
Mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually? How are we taking care of ourselves? And it's important. And so then the last part of the book is called Share Your Unique Brilliance with the World, understanding that you are a niche or niche.
Mhm.
But understanding that, again, you have unique gifts and talents and abilities that are specific for someone. Like my book is not going to resonate with everybody. I totally get that.
Mhm.
My book is not for everybody. I totally, totally get that. But my book is for specific people. I know that to be true. And because I understand I am a niche, I am a niche, I am designed to serve a certain group of people. And I use the example all the time about McDonald's and Burger King and Wendy's. They all sell burgers, right? They got burgers and fries, right? But they're all different.
Mhm.
Some people like Wendy's, some people like McDonald's, some
Yeah.
people like Five Guys. Everybody has their thing. So I can write a book about, discovering your purpose and your value and all those things. And someone else can write the same type of book, but it's going to resonate differently depending on who you are. And so a lot of times we say we can't do this because someone else is already doing it. There's a million coaches out there. There's a million that, but no one is going to do it exactly the way you do it. Because again, you are a divine design. You are unique, you are different, and you are special. And God created you that way to serve a certain group of people. And so I'm clear about that. I understand I'm not for everybody and everybody's not for me. There's certain people I resonate with and certain people resonate with me. And that's how it's supposed to be. And I don't get caught up into, oh, so-and-so got this many people and this person got this. Well, that's good. Maybe that's who they're supposed to serve. If we get comfortable with who we are, we understand that who we are is enough for somebody.
Yeah, that's good.
We're enough for somebody, and somebody needs us exactly the way we are. So we don't have to keep trying to change and be like someone else. Be who you are, because that's enough for somebody. You're enough for somebody. And so, and the last part is called unleashed and ready to glow. Not ready to grow, but ready to glow. And it's all about being a light. It's all about shining. It's all about showing up big in your own life. It's all about sharing who you are with the world. Because again, nobody else is like you. No one else is like me. If I don't show up as me, who will? And when I'm gone, I'm gone. And the world would not have been able to benefit from my brilliance. So I tell people, show up big, show up powerfully, however that looks for you. However it looks for you may be different from me. You have this great show. I may not be doing the show. But if this is how you're going to show up big in the world, then do that and do it to the best of your ability. I may be a speaker around the world. I'm going to show up big in that arena. So whatever that is, just show up and shine brightly so that someone who is in darkness, who's waiting for you to shine, can finally see the light. So
definitely.
That is my book.
That's it. And you guys, if you're watching the show and you're just wondering, how in the world can I purchase this amazing book? It's actually in the description box. You can purchase it from Dr. Denise's website as well as Amazon. If you purchase it from Dr. Denise's website, you'll actually get an autographed copy. And so make sure that if you're tuning into the show, make sure you go ahead and share this episode now. So Dr. Denise, with all of the self-improvement books out there, why is your book one of the best ones to purchase for our bookshelves?
Because I wrote it.
Come on. Next question.
I think it's good because I think it really helps people to take the time to discover who they are. Someone told me at the book club luncheon on Saturday that my book, and I say this in the book, I am not sharing anything new under the sun. There's nothing new. These are time-tested principles of life. And I have just decided to say it in my own way, and that it will resonate with certain people. And so I think it's a good book if you're really ready to take your life to a new level, to really discover who you are, to really get comfortable in your own skin, to be ready to celebrate that you are truly an amazing being, period. And I have to say that because a lot of times we think that our past mistakes diminish our value. Sometimes we think that the things that society say diminish our value. If I'm not blue-eyed, blonde hair, flowing, then I'm not a value. That is so not true. As brown girls, we are just as beautiful, just as amazing. And so this book is just to remind us of who we already are. And that's amazing beings. I'm just here to remind you that you're amazing. So that's why I think it's so important to read this book. And there are exercises in some of the chapters in the book to help to reiterate the principle that I'm trying to share in the book. So I tell people, don't just read the book, engage with the book.
It's good. Yeah.
I've gotten books before and I kind of read them, but the ones that I stopped and actually did the exercises, those are the things that really made a difference in my life. So don't just read it, do the exercises in the book. They're really quick, simple things, but they really will make a difference, and you will really start to own your amazing. I promise you that. If you really take the time to read it and engage with it, to sit down and think about who you are, you're going to come out a totally different person.
Good. That's good. Yeah. And I know that you actually mentioned your luncheon that you had previously, and you have one that's coming up in the fall. Where was it? Where will this luncheon be held at? In the
Not
DMV?
sure yet.
Okay.
So I'm gonna tell everybody, stay tuned, stay posted, for upcoming dates. But the one we had on Saturday was truly, truly amazing.
That's good.
It was just, I tell for the book club luncheon, it's for people who've read the book. They come and share with me their insights and breakthroughs and aha moments they got from the book. And this was the second time I've done it live. I did it virtually back in March, but I did it live in December, and I did it live here in June. I'm probably gonna do it again, maybe December. But I'm telling you, what the people got from the book is what just really amazed me. And I told them I wrote the book with the hopes of helping at least one person. If I help one person change their life, to own their amazing, stand a little taller, to love themselves a little bit more, then it was worth it. And so I get opportunity to hear from them, like, yeah, this impacted me. I read this part. I did this exercise. So that's what that's for. And we share and we encourage one another. And it was just such a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful experience for them and for me. So I will be doing another book club
Yeah.
luncheon soon.
Uh-huh.
But just stay tuned for the dates for that. But it's always an amazing experience when I do those.
So, the book club luncheon, you actually do a virtual book club, right?
I may do another virtual book club luncheon where we got a couple of people, we got on Zoom and we talked about the book and all those things,
Okay.
because those people were in other parts of the country.
Right.
The one live is here. I live in Maryland, so
Hmm.
it was just easier for people who are local to come and be a part of the luncheon. So I
Hmm.
did it virtually for those who were in other parts of the country. So I
Yeah.
probably have to do it again virtually because everybody may not be able to get here for
Right.
the live one. But that's okay. It's still a great opportunity.
Yeah, and if you guys are watching, actually, just make sure you go ahead and follow. Go to Dr. Denise's Facebook page and
Yes,
make sure you click on that follow
yes,
so that you will be notified when she lets you all know when she's going to start that luncheon and where it's going to be at and where to tune in for the virtual book club as well. So, Dr. Denise, why do you actually call yourself the self discovery specialist?
For one, um, I believe that the most important relationship you're going to ever have is the one that you have with yourself.
Hmm.
It's about self discovery. And the reason why I call myself a specialist, because by trade, I am a specialist. I am a speech language pathologist. I've been there for over
Oh.
26 years. I have
Uh-huh.
a private practice. So I am a specialist. And I tend to attract specialists. Again, attorneys, doctors, lawyers, executives, people who, again, have a lot of accomplishments, but who still know. And this is the thing, they still know within themselves they should be doing so much more,
Mm.
so much more. I have a client who is also a speech language pathologist, and she's been in private practice for about 8 years. And she was just saying, like, she's been a little complacent. She know that she could be doing so much more.
Hmm.
There are people coming up to her asking her, "Hey, can you work with my kid? Can you? We would love to give you this contract." And she just wasn't moving on it until recently. So we had a coaching session a couple of weeks ago, and just today she texted me to say, "Hey, 3 or 4 people. No, one mom approached her about seeing her kids. She had 3 kids. She was like, I want you to work with my kids." Like, what? So I tend to attract people who have a sense of success, but they know it's like, I could be doing so much more. And
Hmm.
so and also being a specialist is that I specialize. I know how to get in there and figure out what's going on with you. My training as a speech language pathologist has trained me to hear people. It
Yeah.
was like, okay, I heard that. Well,
Hmm.
I didn't hear that. You
Hmm.
said this, words have meanings and all those kind of things. So I believe I can really get in there. I am not a generalist. I don't work with any and everybody. Even in my private practice, I am very specialized. I only get those cases that are, let's see, let's get in there. We have to dig in there and see what's going on. So that is kind of why I call myself a specialist, because of what I do and the kind of the people I tend to attract.
Hmm. So I know at the beginning of the show, you helped us to have a better understanding of why you started your own um, on your amazing movement. But can you actually let us know what are some of the services that you actually provide under that umbrella?
Oh, absolutely. I do. One of the things I love to do is coaching,
Mhm.
and I do individual coaching. One of my clients was a PhD. She, she had traveled the world. She had a PhD. She was coming back to the United States and couldn't figure out what to do with her life now. So again, I love working one on one with people. I also do group coaching. I love doing business coaching. I love having people to figure out what business they want to do, and then how to expand it, how to grow it, how to make it their own, not to feel like they have to have a cookie cutter business. So I do individual coaching, I do group coaching. Another thing I do like a VIP day where some people say, I just want you to spend a day with me and help me figure out what's going on, get my game plan, and go from there. So I do that as well. I also do workshops. Last year I was on tour. I think I did 8 stops last year for my
Wow.
tour. Yeah, I'm not doing that many this year. Not that many this year,
Uh,
but I will be on tour in the fall. So be looking for those dates. So I
that's
do
good.
coaching, I do speaking, I do my own workshops, I do the book club luncheons, all those kinds. So I just really love just getting the message out and helping people really discover themselves. I
Mhm.
just love that. I mean, it's just so rewarding for me to see people just live more fulfilling and meaningful lives for themselves.
Yeah,
That to me
yeah.
is just it's my thing now.
That's good. That's good. So now, if somebody wanted to utilize your service as a coach,
Yeah.
you can they actually do that virtually?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
my most of my all of my clients actually, except for one right now, are not local. I've
Okay.
had Arkansas, North Carolina, all over. So yeah, we do it virtually, via Skype or the telephone. We meet on a regular basis. We figure out what you want. What does your amazing life look like to you? I don't get to define it. You define it for yourself, and then we figure out how to get you from where you are to where you're trying to be.
Hmm.
So we talk about if there are any stumbling blocks, challenges, whatever. I help work you through that. And this is the thing I love. The thing about coaching is this: coaching is not meant to make you anything other than what you already are. You're already amazing. You're already great. I always use the example. Think about LeBron James. He has a coach.
Hmm.
Serena Williams has a coach. All the great elites, athletes, they all have a coach.
Hmm.
And so the coach's job is not to make them great. Nobody can make Michael Jordan great. He was the greatest. Look at LeBron. Look at all these. Look at Steph Curry. These football, whoever, you name it. They're great already. But the coach's job is to help them to see things that they may not be seeing.
Hmm.
It's to help them. If you're playing life, you in the court playing in your life on the game. You don't see some of the things that the coach see. You don't see the blind spots. You don't see they double teaming you over here. You don't see the. So a coach's job is to continue to coach you to your greatness. That is it. To make sure you stay on track and that you win at whatever it is that you're trying to win at.
Do you, as a coach,
Uh huh.
pull those things out of the individual if you feel that they are not
Yes.
utilizing or doing
Yes.
so?
Yes.
Okay,
Because
okay,
I would be able to see things they may not be aware of, right?
okay.
And I could pull things. I'm listening to what the person is saying. It's like, oh, say you said you wanted this, but you didn't do this.
Hmm.
Okay, what's going on with that? Well, I heard you say this, but did you really mean that? So yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
The coach, they're coaching the greatness out of you. It's already in
Got you.
you.
Okay, okay,
It's
okay,
in there. It's in there.
okay.
But sometimes we don't always see it because it's our lives. I have coach. I have a life coach and I have a business coach. I've had a business coach from day one
Hmm.
because I'm in my life, I'm in my business, and there may be some things. Oh, don't forget about this. Don't forget. Oh, yeah, I forgot it. So we need people to help hold us accountable, to help hold us in support, to hold us to our greatness, to hold us to what they already know is within us. They just help us to stay on track. I don't care who you are. Even executives have coaches. Anybody who want to perform at an elite level have a coach.
Yeah,
They have a
and I
coach.
and I think that
Yeah.
that's so good that you named off some of the elite athletes, because I think that some people may think, oh, I've already reached that level, I no longer need that coach. But just like you said,
Oh,
these elite athletes, they need coaches, so why in the world would we think
yes,
you don't need a coach?
yes.
But I do want to let you all know that if you want to utilize Dr. Denise's coaching services, she does offer a 45-minute free session. So make sure that you reach out to her. Her website is in the description box. So Dr. Denise, I know that you actually host a weekly Facebook Live on Tuesdays at various times, and then on Thursdays at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. If somebody was to tune in, what would they be learning? What would they be hearing you talk about?
So on Tuesdays, that's where I do a little bit more teaching, kind of like some of the things we talk about in the book. I go a little bit more in depth with those things.
Okay.
That's what my Tuesday is called. Tuesday, let's kind of chat. Let's have a conversation. And so it's various topics surrounding, helping people to own their amazing. We might talk about, are you living on purpose? Or is fear stopping you? Whatever it may be that I know that keeps a lot of people from living amazing lives. Those are kind of things that we talk about on Tuesday. So definitely chime in on Tuesday. Again, I don't always know what time I'm coming on Tuesdays. I allow myself that flexibility. Again, I get to decide what my Tuesday look like, right?
Yeah. That's that amazing life, y'all.
Yeah, my coach was like, she was like, what are you going to do? I said, I don't know what time. She said, do it the time you want to do it. I was like, oh, yeah. Yeah,
right.
That's right. And so that's what I do. I allow myself to come on when I can come on. And, I hope you can catch me live. If not, watch the replay, leave the comments, all that good stuff. But on Thursdays, I do come on every Thursday at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I'm only up there for a couple of minutes. And it's called Think About It Thursday. And that's really the inspiration, motivation, kind of get you going. Let's do this thing. We got it kind of thing to get people pumped up. So that is every Thursday. I've been committed to doing that for over almost 2 years now.
Oh, that's good.
I really like that. People jump on just to get a few minutes of inspiration and motivate. And we need that and an encouragement.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end, I'm always saying, but go take action.
That's good.
Go take action. Now that you know you are amazing, what are you going to do about it? Mm-hmm. What kind of action are you going to take? And so, again, Tuesday is more of a teaching. Let's talk. Let's chat. Let's go a little bit more in depth. And then Thursday is more kind of like motivation, inspiration to keep you going and to keep you moving forward with your life. So that's when I'm on.
That's excellent. And if you guys want to tune in to those Facebook Lives, make sure that you go to Dr. Denise's Facebook page and not just like, but follow her page as well. Dr. Denise, I just thank you so much, one, just for writing this book and just being so transparent about your life. You guys, I thank you all for taking time to watch another episode of Authors to Know and their books to read. And I hope you all have a blessed night. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.